This is Soundoff 60.
I want to make sure that the best team is the champion.
Yeah.
I want to play.
And that's key.
If that tournament comes up with this is the best team, I'm for that.
Southwest Louisiana's premier sports talk television show.
With me?
Hey.
Without me. All
That
right.
might be the
Hey.
dumbest argument we've ever had.
You
I
are
like the way he
most
does that.
idiotic imbecile if you thought that argument did not have merit.
Look.
It did not.
All right,
McCarron.
So you're talking about my LSU quarterback?
Yeah.
You put
With me, without me.
Soundoff 60 is presented by Tarver Ford in Sulphur. Give us a chance to earn your business. And by Jack Daniel's Bar and Grill at Lauberge Casino Resort. Here are the boys, Rick, Scooter, and Kevin.
Welcome back to Soundoff 60 here at Jack Daniels. We've got a great show lined up for you, and thanks for making us a part of your evening. Hopefully you guys who made the trip to Athens, Georgia, did not overdose on Georgia peaches. Something tells me you did not.
I did not.
Is that correct?
I did not. I didn't overdose on sleep. I
No,
know
I'm
that.
sure you didn't do that either. I've got a lot to talk about.
Yes, we do.
Unfortunately, on the college side, guys, we got a lot of losses to talk about. The Tigers fall at Georgia. You are very uncharacteristically down on the far end there, Mr. Guidry. The McNeese Cowboys also on the road. They lose big at the University of Northern Iowa. We got a big matchup on Monday Night Football. If you're watching us early in the week, the Saints will try to stay unbeaten against the also unbeaten Dolphins. So a lot to cover. Some football coaching firings in college game that everybody should be celebrating.
Scooter's boy.
Scooter's
Come on.
boy got fired. We'll talk about that out in USC.
I had to
land.
throw that in. Scooter perked me
And
up.
we're
man.
going to make the
come
round.
back.
We'll have a
man.
lot of fun.
Kiffin, I had to throw that in,
Unlike
man.
last week, I'm not going to jump on a
had to.
tirade and a rant about how you guys are. We're just going to have fun tonight. We're going to probably argue
Yeah.
and bicker, but
As always.
it'll be good natured. All right, let's
Little
start.
Lord Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, Little Lord Lane. We won't be flipping any coins.
Yeah.
The McNeese loss won't have as big of an impact, or could have as big as an impact, as LSU's loss at Georgia. So we'll start with the Bayou Bengals and the loss
I
over the
think they're
Georgia
pretty
Bulldogs.
similar. I mean, I don't. The only thing LSU's loss really did for their immediate goals was take away the margin for error. It's still going to come down to who wins LSU, Alabama.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
In the East, because
Yeah.
they're in the West.
I mean,
But
I
the-
didn't
but the
see
big
anything in
picture-
that game to suggest they can't win all their other games.
Oh,
And I agree.
Of course not.
I agree, Scooter.
But you have to agree. The
Totally.
big picture of already with the one loss, the margin of error to get into the BCS picture. When you go to LSU, Kevin, what do you go for? When you go to play at LSU, what do you play for?
To be undefeated.
What else do you play for?
You play for the national championship.
championship. That's what I was driving at.
But Rick, this is my whole thing. I mean, Scooter
In
brought
a
up a good
nutshell,
point.
are you going to make one comment
No,
about LSU? That's how I didn't
no.
think so. I just wanted
It's
to
not going to happen.
throw that out.
I was, what Scooter said was true. There's no reason that LSU can't win the rest of their games and beat Bama. But right now, the margin of error is very, very slim right now because you are going to have some teams that are going to be undefeated, probably.
They have
Okay.
to play Ole Miss, do they not? Is Ole Miss
Yeah.
on the schedule?
Well, yeah, they're in the West.
All right.
But
Okay.
the thing is,
I'm just saying.
Well, I'm not saying Alabama's the only game on the schedule.
Let's
But
Yeah,
it
they do.
wasn't the
But
only game
I
on the
don't-
schedule before they lost to Georgia.
Yeah,
either.
they
lost,
So
yeah.
nothing has really changed.
No.
Okay.
But the thing when you look at it, and you know what, I can't say a lot of, and it sounds funny because we had to take a loss on Saturday, but I can't say anything extremely bad about defense. Offense, I'm gonna say excellent. You put up 41 points. I gotta tip my
LSU,
hat.
you're supposed
I gotta
to
tip my
win.
hat to you. I have to. But defense, and everybody say about the muff punt. Nah, it definitely didn't help. But we had time after the muff punt.
Well, I'm glad you said
Okay,
that. That's a good
but,
point.
But the thing that I think that got me, and it's my guys, Rick, because I'm passionate about it, because I know what they go through. My corners, they're young, and sometimes you can take.
Their heads were in the cloud. It seemed like they were walking. At
You know-
plays, they were throwing their arms up. Who has
I know.
who? Where's
I
the
know.
coverage?
I know. And I think a lot of times, Rick, when you're that young, you want to be so aggressive to where sometimes you don't see the big picture of being smart.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of times that's the oldest route in the book, man. That up and take away fade. It's a fade that looks like you're going to run a post, but you fade it to the outside. In cover 2, that's probably the hardest route to defend.
Let me ask.
You're trying to get safety getting over?
Yes,
Yeah,
Scooter,
let me ask newspaper
that's the
board
hardest
here.
route to defend.
Let me ask newspaper board. Get your perspective on this. LSU's 44-41 defeat at Georgia. Was it a defensive loss, or was it a Georgia offensive victory?
I can
What
answer that after
weighs more
Scooter.
so?
I'll answer that after Scooter. I got my answer for that one.
Well, I mean,
two
obviously,
NFL future quarterbacks.
well, you know, let's just talk about the game in general.
You can't answer the question?
Yeah, I'll get to it.
Okay.
Hey, I cannot, not just an LSU
being nice
game.
tonight. I'm not gonna
just
press
you know that game was the talk of the
It was.
country.
It was.
The next day.
It was a great game.
And it was a great game. If you didn't have your
Unbelievable.
rooting interest in it,
Yeah.
I can't remember, and there have been some, I'm sure. I can't remember a college game when two quarterbacks went at it
Yeah.
and put on a better show.
I agree, Scooter.
Just,
Back and forth.
whatever you do, I'll match.
Yeah.
Top this, okay. I watched the replay. I thought Vern Lundquist had the greatest line when he said, when LSU scored, I guess to tie it, 34,
Yeah.
I guess,
Yeah.
to tie it or whatever it was. And he says, LSU holds serve.
Yeah.
That was about right. But I mean,
Yeah.
it really was a great, and been last year's LSU defense, different, but it isn't. That's what
Yeah.
you have was these two teams.
Yeah.
And I mean, they played their asses off.
But you know what,
Both
Scooter?
teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
point that Scooter makes is a good one because you know what? Last year, LSU may have had the defense, but they couldn't have scored 41 points.
No, they
No.
couldn't have. No,
They
they
couldn't
couldn't
have scored
have.
41
and I
points,
guess
though.
Tiger fans
So you see,
get a
you got
little- get a little spoiled with the last 2 to 3, maybe even
Yeah.
4 years.
Yeah.
Most of maybe a lot of Nick Saban's reign and Les Miles. That defense has been one of the core strengths of this program,
has been.
and
Yeah.
it surely didn't show to a degree between the hedges in Athens.
And
But
I'll say
again,
this.
this is Aaron Murray. This is a very talented
No, he
Georgia
is.
offense
Well, you know-
without the best running back in the country, though. Consider
Well, yeah,
that.
but
He
the
goes
backup's
down
But they
there.
had
pretty
two, Rick.
good.
Those two backs.
Backup's pretty good.
Yes, he is. I got to agree with
Good,
Scooter.
but
Yeah,
not
that- Rick,
not
Back
a Todd
up.
Gurley.
Rick,
I
that's
mean,
one,
they
too.
got away from the running game a little bit in the
Yeah.
second half.
Rick, that's a
But
1-2 point for those two guys. 3 and 4, that's 1-2.
I thought Miles put it in perspective as far as, you think LSU Georgia, you think, 17-14 game maybe, something like that.
Yeah. A lot of
But,
people did.
Miles kind of pointed out, he said, keep in mind, not just LSU, between those two teams, their defenses had 15 players drafted last year.
No.
Between them, and you're asking the rebuilt defenses to play 2 NFL quarterbacks,
Yeah.
2 NFL running backs, and
Yeah.
probably 4 NFL receivers.
Yeah, I'm with you
Yeah.
on that. But that's what we talked at the beginning of
But
the
that's-
LSU campaign. Can this defense
And we talked about that,
can
Rick.
this defense put itself together in time for these big games?
And
Oh, I
you know
think-
what?
I mean,
and,
and the
they
thing is,
obviously
Rick,
have not to a large degree.
But you know what, Rick? I think to a degree they may have almost gotten away with it because you know what? A lot of times we will talk about teams that have a potent offense, but the defense sometimes lack a little bit in what they should do. But LSU knows now we can put up 41 points against some of the best. So what that's telling them, Rick, defense, if you just hold on.
I wrote this morning.
If you hold on,
you just
we're gonna
have
put
to
some
look
points
at
on the
this
board.
season differently now. The old rules of ball control and field position don't really apply.
No.
LSU's got to keep the foot on the gas
Right.
and
Scooter,
outscore
that's it.
teams.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
that's
it.
just the reality.
They are
That's it,
they
Rick.
are the New Orleans
Because
Saints
if you
in
try,
purple and
Rick,
gold.
that's it.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
I
Maybe
mean,
not this
and,
year,
and
'cause the Saints
Mettenberger
defense
is playing quarterback.
He's unreal, Scooter,
and
I'm
I've
serious.
said, I said at the first of the year, okay, he's playing as good as since Matt Flynn, blah, blah. He's playing quarterback at a level I haven't seen.
Hold that thought. Okay,
really.
hold
I'll
that
hold
thought.
it, 'cause I got a lot to say on that
We're
one.
going to take
We're
a
gonna
short
need
break.
another LSU
When we come
segment, I
back,
think.
we're going to talk about Zach Mettenberger because
Okay.
the throws he made, and I'm not
yeah.
tipping the hand.
That's
blew me
NFL
away.
throws. No, that's
Blew me
NFL
away.
throws. That's Sunday throws, Rick.
He has turned the corner. We'll have more LSU talk
But I got
later
an
on
answer
in
as
the
to
show.
why,
We'll
though.
get on the Cowboys, and they got a big game coming up against Central Arkansas,
Yeah.
opener of the Southland Conference. We'll do that and more when we come back to Jack Daniels here at Lauberge in about 2.5 minutes. Stay right there.
Soundoff 60 is brought to you by Tarver Ford in Sulphur. Give us a chance to earn your business. and by Jack Daniels Bar and Grill at Lauberge Casino Resort.
Phil, if you guys have been here for 3 years, I see all the blue tags. How's it going?
Oh, we've made great progress, Judd. We've got people coming from all over Cameron, Hackberry, Southeast Texas, even from across the bridge in Lake Charles, Moss Bluff, and Iowa. So it's not that far, and we really are having a great time serving them and seeing people respond to us.
Like right now, we have big closeout savings on all our new 2013 Ford cars. $3,000 off MSRP on Focus, Fusion, Fiesta, Taurus, even Mustangs, $3,000 off.
So come see us at Tarver Ford, exit 21 in Sulphur.
If you've got your crew in Miller Lite, you've got Miller time.
It's Miller time!
But what if one of your crew is Ken Jeong?
What's with the pig? Wait. No way! The pig! Did you teach him that?
Yeah, I did. Sorry I'm late. I came straight from work.
Man, this line's ridiculous. No joke. King!
I'm that guy from that thing!
Give me one.
Miller one.
Man, hell, hey, wait.
It's not just a good time, it's Miller time.
Dr. Casio was my choice.
Dr. Casio is my choice.
Dr. Casio is my choice.
Dr. Brett Casio is fellowship trained and board certified in both orthopedics and sports medicine. He has the tools, techniques, and experience to get athletes back on the field of play. Call 337-494-4900.
Dr. Brent Casio is the official sports medicine physician of Soundoff 60. All right, welcome back to Jack Daniels at Lauberge. We want to tell you about a very interesting thing coming to Lauberge Casino at the Special Events Center, a live taping of The Price is Right.
Yeah, that's going to be
November.
crazy. You are
From
kidding.
like 3 or 4 weeks
It
in
is.
November.
It is.
They're going to have The Price is Right here.
Yeah.
Now,
I want to be on that show.
Is not on
no,
the
I
show
want to be
anymore.
on that show. I'm telling you right now, I want to be on that show.
You're going to be the Bob Barker with the skinny microphone?
What are you going to wear?
I don't know, but I want to be on that show.
That's the one where they dress up like Fruit of the Loom and stuff, huh?
No.
Yes,
no,
it is.
Let's make a deal.
Let's make a
Monty
deal.
Hall, this is The Price is Right.
The Price Right.
But they dress up stupid, don't they?
No, they don't. They have all the pretty girls and they
Yeah.
look
Yeah, but
behind
they
this
still
door.
dress up stupid.
No, they don't dress up stupid. I haven't watched it in 20 years, but no, that's like, let's make a deal with the doors and stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you are aging
You have to
yourself.
price stuff, and if you get it right, whatever, another door opens up and
It's a
stuff like
great
that.
game show.
I want to be on that show.
I can't remember
Telling
who's
you.
hosting it now, but anyway,
I wanna
who's
be on
ever
that
hosting
show.
it. It's going to be Drew Carey, was it?
Drew Carey's hosting.
Carey?
Yeah.
I don't know. Drew Carey going to be here?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll
We'll find out.
I don't know.
But
We're going to
The Price
find
is
out.
Right, we'll be here.
They're going to bring the
starting
big
weekend
wheel.
of
They're going to
November.
bring big spinning wheel. You know the big wheel.
Yeah,
You
the big
pull
wheel.
down it.
Yeah, the big wheel. You know the game.
I love that show, man.
It starts
Watch out.
November 8th through the
I love that
10th here at
show.
Lauberge Casino.
You are kidding me.
You might get on the show. You might be.
I want to be on the show. I'm
discovered
telling you,
for
I want to be
Hollywood.
on the show.
All right, guys, let's get back to the LSU
Price
loss
is
at
Right.
Georgia by 3. It came down to, Aaron Murray throwing a great touchdown pass
Yeah,
in
but
the
a
corner
busted
late
coverage.
in the game.
Another busted coverage.
That's
Let
my
me get
point,
this
Scooter.
way out.
What? How much time? About a minute 27?
Minute 40.
Scored early. They kind of scored early, really.
Let me get this out of the way early. Georgia crossed midfield. We're at the 2-minute mark.
Yeah.
They're down to the 30, the 25. Very same spot on the field. I couldn't help but remember, what was that, 40 years ago? I'm sitting in just about the same spot of the press box, looking down on the field that's where Kevin Guidry's finest moment as a Tiger was.
Yes, it was.
It looked
Yes,
like
it was.
Georgia was going to win it late.
it did.
A game really LSU had dominated, if I
Oh, damn.
remember. But Georgia had a chance to win it late. And my buddy here stepped in front and made the interception of his career.
That was probably my biggest pick ever, man.
And of course, all the media's gathered around him after the game. My man was speaking in tongues.
All right.
I remember that, too.
Here's
I remember
stuff
that.
the wise guys early. Who
I
was the
remember that.
quarterback? Don't answer. Let's see. And who was the receiver, the intended receiver?
Look.
Do you remember?
Yes, I do. The guy played for the New York Giants.
I don't remember.
His name was
the receiver.
No, yeah, Rick. His name was. God, dog. He was a running back.
I thought you said a
He was
long
a running
time
back.
ago. I thought you said it was Lindsey Scott.
No.
Lindsey Scott was gone by then.
No, he played for the Giants for a number of years.
Who was the quarterback? Do you remember? I don't.
either.
I mean, y'all's quarterback was Tommy Hudson.
Buck Ballou.
Rick, I remember the guy's
that
name.
could have been
Rick.
Ballou. I think Ballou was.
He was a pretty good running back for a couple years.
Scott, I think.
He was a pretty good running
Hey,
back
it
for
was
a
just
couple
a
years.
quick test. Anyway,
God,
all right.
dog, you got me thinking
so
now,
in the
man.
exact same
Jeez.
spot.
Look,
it was just about the very spot on
I
the
remember
field.
that, man. God, that was a great night for me.
Oh, but you just happen to remember.
All right, let's get on the LSU loss. And I think the same loss. Okay, it was a great game. Zach Mettenberg, gentlemen. He looked like the quarterback from Clemson.
He's a different guy.
Which I'm just gaga over because of his accuracy. Mettenberger, he was laser-like. Throws I have never seen him make. Some of the throws.
I've seen him make those throws before.
Not in one game.
He's been doing that all along.
On those third downs. Perfect throws. Perfect.
The one he threw for the touchdown between two defenders. That's an NFL throw. That's a Drew Brees throw.
He's making some money this year.
That's an NFL throw. And let me say something else, guys. And I don't know if we can sit
that
here and
say
say
one of your column headlines.
That and maybe I can ask you guys, but can one person come in for 1 year and make this big a difference in an individual's athletic career?
I don't know how else
how can you explain that?
Well, Cameron says he was going to be better anyway. Just from playing a year. But I mean, Jordan Jefferson played 4 years. I didn't see his best year was probably his freshman year.
Yeah. So you've got too much that have come into the equation right now. Zach is doing things, guys, the three of us have never seen him do on last year. Honestly. I
haven't watched him
being
as much
honest.
as you guys.
But he's and his poise. What I look for in a guy to let me know if he's good or not, and if he understands what's going on, it's his poise. And Rick, you look like you couldn't rattle him. Honestly, I mean, he looked like Tom Brady.
And I don't know.
Tom Brady's the coolest guy ever.
I don't know if it came across on TV, but just by Mettenberger particularly, because I'm gonna tell you that stadium, the second half, it was Tiger Stadium loud.
Oh yeah.
I mean, every bit as loud as Tiger Stadium. Those Georgia fans were in, and I thought Mettenberger was so. That's one thing that made me. It was such a tight game, and it was obvious it was going to come down to the quarterbacks had to keep making throws, and both those quarterbacks, when I get in the binoculars, they look just as calm and cool.
Yeah.
Aaron Murray. The Bulldog quarterback.
He's a calm player. He's a cool guy.
He answered the call.
He's going to end the SEC's all-time leading
he
passer.
will. That's no doubt.
I mean, he's a 4-year starter. He should be calm.
We talked about how they lost, why they lost, defensive, and do the Tigers have an issue with the offensive line?
I don't think
is there a concern there with
Zach's been upright pretty much.
I think there.
Really?
I think too much.
Like 4 times.
Well, but those were things.
Three of them.
But understand this: for a guy that have just a little bit more ability than Zach, everybody knows that Zach is not going to get away from any type of sack. I mean, he's not, Rick. Right. But if this is anybody else, they can avoid 2 of those sacks, I think. One of them was a given.
Okay.
But the thing that gets me, Rick, when you look at that, is that the offensive line, you got to credit those guys somewhat. I mean,
what did they have rushing during the first half?
Well, but they made too much of that.
How can you make too
when
much
I look
of
at it,
they ran the ball okay.
They did.
Not great, but okay. And in the second half,
overall,
second half,
but first half,
it tapered off some.
I didn't get that. I saw that stat too. They had 4 yards or something.
Yeah,
and that's the first half. You know how I used my naked eye deal? It didn't seem like 4 yards. I mean, they had a few breaks. But plus, I mean, the game got into such a shootout, and Mettenberger was working. I mean, keep doing it. I thought their offensive line, I mean, they got sacked 4 times. 2 of them he probably held too long. One he didn't see. I didn't think, and then they blitzed once and got him quick.
Yeah.
But I didn't think any of them were out and out offensive line
breakdowns.
failures.
Okay, all right, that's fair. And that's fair. All right. So
more concern to me would be that LSU's defensive line got no pressure on Murray.
That was my next comment, Rick. I mean, the last possession I think that Georgia had I was a little bit surprised at the lack of pressure we put on Murray, knowing that this guy can hurt you if you don't get to him. And I think that's what hurt LSU. I think that last possession, we should have went and got him, Rick. And I don't know what they was thinking upstairs about it, but you got to go get a guy that's that accurate.
If you're going to blitz, what do you got to play in the secondary?
Man. Okay. You got to play man.
But you know what? Miles brought that up today, and somebody said, "Well, is that why you're scared?" And Miles, with these young guys,
he's got some talented guys back that can play man.
Can I finish?
Go ahead.
Because I want your comment on this
right.
at the end.
Okay.
But let me finish.
I'll wait for you.
All right. You've got to play more man-to-man if you're going to blitz. And Miles said, really, with this young secondary, they might be more comfortable playing man-to-man, but all they got to do is stick on a guy than knowing where to be in that zone. Would you agree with that?
Totally, Scooter. Totally, Scooter.
So I think you may see a little more blitzing down the line.
When you talk about athleticism in the secondary, they whip you.
Right.
Really. Right. It's just knowing where to be.
Assignments.
Just knowing where to be,
There
Rick.
was
That's all.
I don't know if it was the crowd noise or
because they had some busted coverages. They had some busted coverages.
And it wasn't, a lot of it you could see coming. I've never seen in a while so much looking around. The ball would be snapped, and there's still LSU defensive players looking around at each other and trying to figure out what they're supposed to do.
It's just a lot of times when you're young and you can't hear calls, sometimes you have to look at your front and determine what you're going to play in the secondary. And when you're young, Rick, you don't have that experience to know. Ooh, you get that deer in the headlights.
We
look
go
on
to
your
break.
face.
But I mean, that's a scary notion.
It is, Rick,
that's a scary notion.
But it can be fixed.
LSU is going to get away from.
But it can be fixed
from a mixture of zone and man coverage when you have Alabama
they would still be a mixture.
But Rick,
what I'm saying is
more comfortable. They would do better, is what you're saying.
But I think they have played mostly zone thus far this year, and that's why they have it. I mean. They probably blitz less than any LSU team I can remember.
Let me just say before we go to break, you made that comment about scary knowing LSU not knowing when to play man or when to play zone. Let me just say this. For a team that's undefeated, which is Bama, they probably may have the worst secondary in the SEC.
Oh, that's an interesting thought. Hold that thought.
Think about that.
Hold that thought.
Think about that.
And I'm not here to try to sugarcoat it, but I mean, everybody wants to talk about, LSU's defense is awful this and awful that.
I'm not going with that, Scooter.
Nobody wants to say, man, Georgia's offense may be pretty good.
No, I didn't say
Georgia's offense is pretty good.
I mean, what did Georgia's defense have to be proud of?
No, you're right about that. They got toasted too. They got toasted too.
Yards.
We'll leave it there for now.
They're all pretty happy.
We'll leave it there for now. I'm sure we'll get back on the LSU Tigers, but coming up next, we'll talk about these Cowboys. They lose on the road at Northern Iowa. They are no longer undefeated. But more importantly, they go on the road this week. Where they open up Southland Conference play against, they're not an arch rival, but they're a pain in the neck, the Central Arkansas Bears. We'll do that more when we come back. Stay right here.
Soundoff 60 is presented by Jack Daniel's Bar and Grill at Lauberge Casino Resort and by Tarver Ford, Beglis Parkway in Sulphur.
Get your free American Press app today. It's all at your fingertips. News, sports, advertising, entertainment, and video delivered through your Apple or Android mobile device. Capture the informative power of the American Press, Southwest Louisiana's premier source for news and advertising. Get your American Press app today. Download it for free through your iTunes or App Store. You'll love the look and feel of our newest digital offering. The app flawlessly delivers the local news most important to you in a new, striking layout. Get your American Press app today.
Choosing your doctors and healthcare professionals is an important and personal decision, and one that you should feel totally comfortable with. Hello, I'm Dr. Trisa Guidry, and I'd like to welcome you to our clinic, where your health and well-being is our top priority. I'm a board-certified OBGYN and a graduate of LSU. My dedicated staff and I would like to invite you to call for a consultation and appointment. You will experience the trust, comfort, and medical treatments you deserve. We are Dr. Trisa Guidry.
All right, the final was 41-6.
Yes, it was.
They were never really in the game.
I can't
Matt
believe that, though,
Viator in
really.
his weekly
I
press
can't-
conference said they were outplayed, outcoached. We're talking about the McNeese Cowboys, by the way. Outplayed and outcoached from snap one. And it all started with the fumbling in the opening kickoff. And then it went downhill.
And you know
Just
what, Rick?
not a good game for the
I didn't get a chance to see the game, but I
Not a good game.
I just heard some people that went to the game that commented on the game. And my only thing is, I guess, just looking at it from the outside in, how can you go from here to here in a week's time?
Competition.
I think competition
On the road
would
and
have
competition.
something to do with it.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Bad game. Just, three.
I wouldn't have.
I'm trying to sugarcoat it, but
I
there's
would not
probably
have
no
thought.
way.
Well, you've been sugarcoating all night here.
But I don't know that I have.
But
Really,
Rick, I mean, just the opening game. I mean, the defense looked like they was just going to be vicious. Was just going to just take people's heads off.
Yeah.
And I can't see how can you drop off that much and let a team score that many
This is
points.
Northern Iowa.
I mean,
know
that
they're
may not mean much to you
no,
and
I
your
know that.
world of FBS.
I know they're good.
This is Northern Iowa. And this is this
But
this
didn't
is a very
McNeese? But didn't McNeese prove to us early on that they could probably compete, Rick? Honestly,
yeah.
I mean, and that's why I'm a little bit, I guess, dumbfounded at to know that. How can this team walk away with this many points and McNeese only put up 6 points?
Yeah. Well, look,
That would, I mean, from what I understand, the 41 is a little maybe misleading as far as McNeese's defense.
Right.
But yeah, where does the 6?
That's
not
my
right.
point. I don't
But
get that.
going into this game, I'd have to bury my nose in the stats. They probably had a 50 to 55% third down conversion rate, which is out of this world.
Yeah.
They got 3 out of 14. That's one thing. And 3 turnovers. They've been able to not be bugged by fumbles and turnovers, and 3 turnovers in it.
Yeah.
Now, the first one, with the return of Murray returning kicks, Northern Iowa didn't get anything out of it.
Right.
But it's still a turnover. It doesn't
It is.
set a good tone. You know what I'm saying? So, but it didn't really hurt them. But again, I go back to third down conversion. I go back to turnovers. I go back to on the road. I go back to Northern Iowa is a number 5 team in the country, and obviously probably
That's a
moved
tough
up a couple.
place
They
to
are.
play.
They are at
But
home too.
I don't
Long
know.
trip, long
Was McNeese do a game like this? You think?
I would have preferred 41 to 34. I'm sure the coaches would too. If you're a Cowboy fan,
it makes a statement to the offense from the past 3 or 4 games that they've played that we were shut out. We were shut down.
Yeah.
And you don't want your offense to ever feel like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, one thing though, I mean, the coaches will have their full attention now.
Oh, yes.
Starting conference.
Oh, yes.
It definitely will be there. But
and one of the things that was gleaned from this game, and I'm real big on a play here or there can turn a game, and apparently Northern Iowa's wide receivers played out of this world.
Really?
And they made acrobatic catches to third down acrobatic catches for 20 plus yards. And we're talking one-handed grab, and they were up on a ladder making the catch. These kind of things you can't expect, and that kept a drive alive when it could have been Cowboy defense off the field. So things like that happen in the game that you
So
just
let me
don't.
ask this, Rick. Do you think
When
the
you get
level...
beat 41-6, don't try to tell me 2 or 3 plays with a difference. Okay.
You can have your turn to sugarcoat.
Let me say this, Rick. I know the week before, we had some guys that we talked about that had played for D1 schools that McNeese had played against. In watching this team, do you think that there will be some guys that will actually have the opportunity to play on Sunday that played against McNeese?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Oh, no,
Okay.
there's no
Well, I mean,
doubt.
that helps the case a little bit,
There's no doubt
Rick.
Northern
I mean, that helps
Iowa
the case
is
a
a
little
step up from Weber State.
That helps the case.
No doubt Northern Iowa, from a top to bottom roster-wise,
Right.
no, they can't match the physical
Right.
and the numbers of a South Florida, which they seem to be playing a little bit better. I'm kind of keeping an eye on South Florida. I know they got beat by...
They were playing awful.
No. They came back that second week and played Michigan State pretty tough, and they lost to
since then,
Miami.
they-
Miami, they lost by 20-something points,
Okay.
but they're not dogging it completely. So Northern Iowa will have guys playing on Sunday. Northern Iowa will have guys signed.
Well,
in the
that kind of
NFL.
helps me understand a little bit more. Maybe
From top to bottom, this is not an FBS school, but this is an upper echelon.
Yeah.
Look,
Oh, no question. I'm not arguing that.
this is where McNeese wants to get back to. They want to get back to the Northern Iowa level, and
Because
Viator said today they competed and did not get whipped physically. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No.
No, say it. They got home 41-6.
No,
Yeah,
but if that's the case, I mean, I've seen games like that.
Yeah.
That's not
But the score doesn't really dictate what.
I mean, you're
actually took place on
saying,
the field.
if they, let's say they did meet in the playoffs, it wouldn't be a slam dunk that there's no sense playing it.
Oh, I wouldn't think
Okay,
so. No,
well,
I'm a believer.
and I'll take that. I believe
I'm
that.
a believer in
And
this
that can
Magnus
happen.
team. They're making plays. Look, Central Arkansas will be a big test because that quarterback, he's the best in the league. Smothers is the best
it will
in
be a
the
test.
league.
It will be a
and
test.
he proved it, last year with that comeback he did.
Yeah.
He's mobile, he's big, they play up tempo, they got a lot of talent.
Yeah.
And not to say they had the Cowboys number, but boy, they got the Cowboys number up there in Conroe.
Yeah.
Some freaky things have happened.
I don't know if you call that an arch rival. It's more like McNeese's arch nemesis.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's a team can get under McNeese's skin,
that would be the one.
And just it seems like McNeese is jinxed when
What
they
was
play
it?
that team.
3 years ago.
3 years ago, I think it was.
I think it was on the SLC TV network.
Yeah.
I think I was about to get up. and I
What,
was
last
watching.
year's crazy?
Well, that was crazy last year.
Yeah.
No, but you recall, I think it was 3 years ago. The Cowboys are going in for a 1-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
He fumbles the ball at the half-yard line, and some big
yeah.
defensive end scoops it up and goes 100 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah. That's
Game
crazy.
over. Now, how many times
That's
is that?
crazy.
I mean, that's just crazy. That's just crazy. All right.
That's crazy.
So they got Central Arkansas on the road. Look, this was a barometer.
Yeah.
And then it's open date, and then it's Sam Houston. So
Yeah.
we talked
And that's
about
another tough one.
We talked about the gauntlet of 3 games.
Yeah,
really,
that's
we thought
another
it would
tough
be a
one.
gauntlet of 4: Weber State, Northern Iowa, and Sam Houston State.
Yeah.
You got to win one. You got to win one. Now, does it come against Central Arkansas on the road, or does it come against Sam Houston at home? I'm a believer in this.
Why can't you win
team.
both of them?
Well, you can. I'm just saying.
Okay.
This is a gauntlet.
Check
though.
it.
This is a gauntlet.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a gauntlet. All right.
You want to walk away with
I
one.
try getting Nick Jacobs more than one catch.
We might get into that. This guy, and that was something that Viator commented about.
Yeah, that came up.
They did not get him integrated into that game, and they have to. You're right about that. Coming up next, we're going to go to the NFL. We'll talk black and gold. The Saints are going for an unbeaten record this week. They got the Dolphins on Monday night.
Both 3-0.
We still got Lane Kiffin getting fired at USC. Who's up for that job?
That's Scooter's boy. Well, you wasn't in the 4 games? What? He didn't make it to 4 games?
Did not make it to 4. Has it been 3 years? Has it been 3 years since
This is his
He didn't
fourth
make
year.
it to 4
year.
games.
I got to harken back to Tennessee because that just kind of chaps my backside.
Man.
What happened at Tennessee? So what comes around goes around. How they say. We're coming back in Tuesday right here.
We are worldwide, 365 and 24/7 at soundoff60.com. Soundoff 60 is presented by Jack Daniel's Bar and Grill at Lauberge Casino Resort and by Tarver Ford Sulphur. Back after this break.
Dr. Cassio was my choice.
Dr. Cassio is my choice.
Dr. Cassio is my choice.
Dr. Brett Cassio is fellowship trained and board certified in both orthopedics and sports medicine. He has the tools, techniques, and experience to get athletes back on the field of play. Call 337-494-4900.
Dr. Brent Cassio is the official sports medicine physician of Soundoff 60.
Philip, you guys have been here for 3 years. I see all the blue tags. How's it going?
Oh, we've made great progress, Judd. We've got people coming from all over Cameron, Hackberry, Southeast Texas, even from across the bridge in Lake Charles, Moss Bluff, and Iowa. So it's not that far, and we really are having a great time serving them and seeing people respond to us.
Like right now, we have big closeout savings on all our new 2013 Ford cars. $3,000 off MSRP on Focus, Fusion, Fiesta, Taurus, even Mustangs, $3,000 off.
So come see us at Tarver Ford, exit 21 in Sulphur.
If you've got your crew in Miller Lite, you've got Miller time.
Grab me one. It's Miller time!
But what if one of your crew is Ken Jung?
Zoink!
What's with the pig?
Wait.
No way! Did you teach him that?
Yeah, I did. Sorry I'm late. I came straight from work.
Man, this line's ridiculous. No joke. Ken!
I'm that guy from that thing!
Give me one! Miller Lite. Man, hey, wait!
It's not just a good time, it's Miller time.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gents. Glad to have you aboard. Glad to have you amongst the show this evening or this morning, whatever time you're watching the show. Want to remind you, big show coming up to the Special Event Center at Lauberge Casino, October 25th. It's the Bare Naked Ladies.
Yes.
And if you listen to popular radio or some XM radio out there, they got a couple of hits being played right now. So if you want to listen to some great music and a great show, Bear Electric.
I had a chance.
Seems like
to
we've
meet
been
some of those
promoting
guys.
this one for.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It's October 25th. It's coming. It's such a big show. We wanted to tell people way in advance.
Bigger than The Price is Right?
And the Price is Right.
I don't know.
Price is Right after in November. But before that, it's the Bare Naked Ladies at the Concert Special Events Center here. All right, guys, the New Orleans Saints going for number 4 in a row against the Miami Dolphins on Monday night tonight. The game is underway as you're watching us. Later in the week, we'll know if they're 4-0 or 3-1 and vice versa for the Miami Dolphins. Again, the unusual nature of how this season and this team is developing. They got 31 last week, okay?
Yeah.
31 offensive points. So it might be moving in the direction. They've got a nick and some bumps and bruises. Lance Moore, you know, with the wrist. But you got Kenny Stills that can make some plays.
Yeah.
You got, the other wide receiver that's back. I can't remember, the Tennessee kid. What is his name again? Meacham. Robert Meacham.
Yeah.
All right, so we know about the offense, you know, not putting up the kind of prolific numbers early on, but then, you know, it's the defense. It's the defense right now that's been somewhat surprising.
It has been.
Number 4 in the league, if I recall. 4 or 5 or 6.
And I don't know when I've ever saw that.
Saints
that high.
And I don't know anybody saw that coming.
No, I had no idea.
They weren't impressive in preseason.
Not really.
Of course, to me, preseason is most useless for defense because basically they're going to stand up there and do nothing.
Has there been a huge infusion of new talent on the defensive side?
Well,
Lewis on the corner. Vaccaro, big guy in the secondary.
What was always, let's face it, they never were a great defense. Even the Super Bowl year, they were about getting turnovers more than stopping anybody. But the weakness of all those teams has become the strength to me. In the front 4, or it's front 3 with the 3-4, but they're still the guys they're crowding up there at the line. Cam
Jordan.
I won't say Cam Cameron. I don't know if it's not Cam Jordan. Cam Jordan. All of them. The guy that got Akeem Hicks.
All of them. He's big.
Oh,
he's huge.
You know, he's
Is
the
he
one
that big
got
at LSU?
Well, he didn't stay at
I know,
LSU
but
long enough. I never saw him. He
huge.
didn't stay there long enough.
He's huge.
But good, if you imagine if he could have stayed at LSU with some of the defensive lines he'd have been on.
This is where
but I mean, they are really
plugging the hole. They don't even have Roman Harper, who again, you know,
we're not going to say we're missing him right now.
You know, Roman Harper has his
because Roman's got his issues too now.
But again, this is
I like Roman.
This is a Rob Ryan comes in. Spagnuolo. Good defensive mind. What's the difference? 4-3, 3-4? I don't know, guys. This is befuddling.
I don't know.
But do you think coaching is that big a deal beyond the head coach, obviously, in the NFL? Though, I mean, I'm
a big believer.
I don't think like everybody wants, and I'm not discounting it. Let's say that this whole LSU offensive turnaround is Cam Cameron. I can kind of buy that.
I can buy that too.
But I have more trouble buying it in the NFL.
Well, let me tell you why.
They're all doing kind of the same thing.
Yeah. But the thing is, Scooter, when you've got a group of guys that you can put in positions that can do what they do best. I mean, you know, just like back in the days, for an example, when I was at LSU, everybody knew Michael Brookside was going to be the rush shot because nobody could block Michael. That was easy. And everybody in the country probably knew that, but you couldn't stop it.
Right.
Just with the Saints, if you've got a guy that nobody can block or stop, you force that side. And I think the Saints.
But here's where a Rob Ryan comes in. Is critical points in the game.
Yeah.
A la the Atlanta Falcons going for the win, making the right call, putting them in the right position,
and you have to
having the right blitz package called where you can win a little battle or win the game.
But see, this is the thing, Rick.
It.
You know, the offense doesn't know the talent level of your guys that you're playing with each and every day. And the offense and the defensive coaches know that. You can have a certain package in that the offense might not know that this is your blitz package. And they don't even expect it because of what they see. You just have people lined up, but we know this guy is one of the best rushers in the country, so we're going to rush him, but they don't see that coming. So it's all about having the right personnel in when you want to do those different things to offset the offense. That's what it's about. And having good players.
I don't know. You know, we're probably, we could look like fools because I see the Saints and Dolphins warming up right now, but we don't know how that game went.
No. I think it's going to be a tight game.
I do too, but I'm not concerned about the Saints' offense though. To me, their offense still looks like if they need to score, they can score.
Yeah, they can.
Anytime they want.
That's no doubt. Unless you find a guy that's going to be
sure
6'8" to cover Jimmy Graham,
tonight,
I think they'll be okay. I think they'll be okay.
I hope that doesn't.
Unless you can find somebody to cover Jimmy Graham, I think
beyond
be okay.
the confines of the New Orleans Saints, man, guys, this week in and week out, this is a league you cannot figure out. The Browns, without this #1 Brandon Whedon at quarterback, beats the Bengals. The Bills win. The Giants are 0-4.
Can you believe that? Well,
you know,
we know why the Giants are 0-4. I mean,
they got Eli.
We both know that.
Speaking of which, I want to bring
Wait a minute, the Steelers and Giants.
I know.
Steelers and Giants.
I know the Steelers.
I looked in
that's kind of like,
they have won 4 of the last 8 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And they're winless.
Yeah. And you know what?
The Steelers
and you know
Giants.
what the record is for a team this early in the season, getting into any kind of postseason?
Unbelievable.
I saw one of the Steelers games.
They're awful.
And I mean,
they just don't seem together.
Imagine the Steelers being that bad.
I know.
And I like that coach.
He is.
Mike Tomlin.
Well, you know, Justin Vincent, was on their practice squad for 3 years.
Yeah.
And Justin Vincent just raves about it.
Yeah.
He said he is just one of the classiest guys.
He is.
So I don't think his job's in jeopardy or anything because he's got enough chips.
Yeah, you're right about that.
He's got enough chips.
You're right about that.
Sagging, good for the Saints. The Falcons, 1-3.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I can't believe that either.
I mean, this is
I watched
a team
most of their game last night.
Falcons went to the postseason last year, man.
They played bad.
Well, they came back. I didn't see. I was in and out of that game.
Yeah, it was kind of luck though that they came back.
But I mean, Brady fumbled too. I mean, that didn't help.
My boy Brady. They lost Vince Wolf to
didn't help,
Achilles
but
tear.
but
the Pats are 4-0. The Saints are unbeaten. There's some interesting teams that are unbeaten, and there's even more interesting teams that are winless.
When are we going to talk about Lane Kiffin?
And you know what?
When are we going to talk about Lane Kiffin?
It's coming.
We're running out of show.
We're saving him, Scooter. We're saving him, Scooter.
The clock. Coming up next, we're going to teach you
him.
a little bit something about playing with pain. Did you play on the college, high school, or are you just a weekend hacker like us here with Dr. Brett Cassio? It's coming up next here at Soundoff 60. Stay right here.
Jack Daniels Bar and Grill at Lauberge Casino Resort, home of Soundoff 60, and Tarver Ford in Sulphur. Give us a chance to earn your business. Round 5 with the boys coming up.
Get your free American Press app today. It's all at your fingertips. News, sports, advertising, entertainment, and video delivered through your Apple or Android mobile device. Capture the informative power of the American Press, Southwest Louisiana's premier source for news and advertising. Get your American Press app today. Download it for free through your iTunes or App Store. You'll love the look and feel of our newest digital offering. The app flawlessly delivers the local news most important to you in a new, striking layout. Get your American Press app today.
Philip, you guys have been here for 3 years. I see all the blue tags. How's it going?
Oh, we've made great progress, Judd. We've got people coming from all over Cameron, Hackberry, Southeast Texas, even from across the bridge in Lake Charles, Moss Bluff, and Ioway. So it's not that far, and we really are having a great time serving them and seeing people respond to us.
Like right now, we have big closeout savings on all our new 2013 Ford cars. $3,000 off MSRP on Focus, Fusion, Fiesta, Taurus, even Mustangs, $3,000 off.
So come see us at Tarver Ford, exit 21 in Sulphur.
All right, welcome back to the show. We want to welcome Soundoff 60's own Dr. Brett Cassio. He is official. orthopedic doctor of the show, of course, and we want to appreciate you coming back and talking with us again. Doc, I wanted to bring up one subject. We might transition to one or the other, but in sports now, basketball, football, but now we're in the football season. I know we all hear about players playing in pain or with an injury. Now, I know there's some distinction of that. Give us a sense of how serious of an injury, or differentiate when a player can continue playing, depending on the injury, and when they shouldn't or can't. There has to be some difference there.
Yeah, well, this is nothing new. You know, the Iliad was written 3,000 years ago, and Achilles had a choice. He could live a short, glorious life, or live a long, unglorious life, and we know what he chose, right? Yeah. So this is a choice that athletes make every day. You can't just say a blanket statement, some injuries you can play with, some you can't. Every situation is individual, and that's why you have to have doctors and trainers look at a player and decide, you know, is it safe to play? Some things you can play with, and some things you can't play with.
Yeah, I know. I think in the distinction I hear made all the time, there's a difference in playing in pain and playing hurt.
And playing hurt, yeah.
How do you make that distinction? I mean, just because something hurts doesn't mean you can't play, I guess. But.
Well, in some sports, hurting is normal. So football, pain and being hurt is a normal part of the game. Right. Unless you're a kicker, maybe. No, I'm just kidding. You know, in other sports, it's not really that common. So it's just an individual situation you have to take. There's some injuries that can get worse if you play on them. Some it's safe to play maybe a couple of games on it. You know, every situation is so specific and different for each player. Plus, it depends what age they are. I mean, it's different if they're a kid versus you're talking about a Super Bowl game.
Every ex-NFL player who played before, say, 1985 claims he played a whole half with a broken leg. Yeah, right. Is that BS, or did that used to happen? Did guys really used to play with broken legs?
Well, sometimes guys play now with they'll have a little crack in their fibula or something, and that hurts quite a bit. But they'll, you know, the adrenaline can let you finish a game.
Exactly.
Sometimes players come back, you know, relatively soon from an injury that would otherwise we would want to hold them out longer for.
Yeah.
You know, every situation is different. We have a lot of things now that can heal people a little faster than used to. But you know, those old stories are good. But I mean, we have stories in the last few years that players play through immense pain and continue on.
I was one of those guys, I have to admit, Scooter and Rick, that I have played
sticking out.
I have played in pain before.
Bone sticking out.
I mean, I have to admit that. But
you were a pain.
But let me say this, Doc. You know, times are different now. Back in the days, you know, when you got hurt, coach would say, "Oh, put some ice on it, ice it down." That was the comment. That was the comment. But you know what? I have a question to go back and ask you as a physician. When you look back at Robert Griffin III, when he played in his last game on last year, do you think he should have played with the injury that came out of that game that he sustained, that still right now look like it has him only at 75, 80%? What's your take on that? Should he have gone into the game and continued to play?
Well, most experts agree he should not have played that game. I'm not making any news story here saying that. Anybody, you didn't have to have a medical degree to understand he was not playing well. I mean, he looked hurt. He looked bad.
That's his game.
Yeah, he couldn't plant. He couldn't protect himself. He was making loop-de-loops instead of just planting on his foot and going. So he looked hurt. And it was obvious.
Dr. Brett Cassio is with us. Brett is with the orthopedic specialist at Lake Charles Memorial Hospital. Doc, you've been around, obviously you spent a lot of time around the regional high schools. You've been around pros, you've been around college programs, things of that nature. One of the things that we also hear about is, from layman's way of describing, is pain blockers. Explain to us about getting the infamous shot, if you will. Apparently it's a practice that is used on the college and professional level.
Well, on the professional level, Toradol shots are probably the most common thing. For instance, some of the teams I've been associated with, it was very common. You know, 15, 20 players would line up before the game and get their Toradol shots, which is an anti-inflammatory. It's very strong, like it's basically like ibuprofen or Advil, but it's very strong. and it's a shot, and it lasts for several hours, and it can get them through a game. Because some of those players can't even function. They can't walk. They limp.
Yeah.
And they get the shot. They get some treatments, and then you see them on TV and they're running around. But you don't see them right after the game.
But is that safe?
When they have, well, it's commonly practiced. Most medicines, if you do it too much, they're not going to be safe anymore. So, in a judicious amount, yes, it can be appropriate.
Okay.
Again, individual situation where a doctor has to prescribe and deliver the medication. Now, the other kind of shot is a shot into your joint. Say your shoulder hurts, your knee hurts, and you get a shot into the joint.
This first one you could just get in your arm anyway.
Usually in your butt. Usually in your butt. You get a Toradol shot. And then the steroid shot is in your knee or your shoulder, the most common places. Where it's still, some places it's okay to have a steroid shot, and go right back out and play. For instance, the AC joint, the infamous AC sprain, happens right here on your shoulder. That's relatively accepted. You can get an AC joint shot and go right back out and play a second half or so. But it's not okay to get a shot in your joint, say in your knee or your shoulder, and go right back out and play. So there's just a difference in what those shots do. If they numb up your joint, you can cause more damage.
That was my point earlier. In our final 30 seconds, your group and your team at Lake Charles Memorial works with a lot of the high schools in the region. Let's differentiate between college and pro and the high school. At that age, there has to be a difference between a younger type player going back into, to Scooter's point earlier, playing with pain or playing with an injury. Is there a differentiation between ages of athletes and when they should sit out more if they are in pain?
Well, we're definitely more careful with the younger players. And you have parents involved. Coaches a lot of times are very involved as well. And these kids. Think about the odds that these kids will make a living with athletics. Very, very low at the high school level.
And that's a good point, Doc.
Even with all the talent that we have in this area, very few ever make a living. They may even make it for a year or two, but they won't make a living forever based on athleticism. So protecting the kids is the number one goal. But playing with pain's part of the game. And you get a lot of benefits from playing sports. So it's a risk-benefit ratio, and you have to weigh that for each individual situation.
Okay. Brett, we appreciate you coming back.
Yes.
Orthopedic specialist, Lake Charles Memorial, Dr. Brett Cassio. Hang around because I got a knee and an elbow I need to look at. He can probably help you with that elbow. He'll twist that arm a certain way and it'll just come back. Doc, we appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Stump the Wise Guys, the lovely ladies are coming up next right here at Jack Daniels. Stay right there.
Soundoff 60 is presented by Tarver Ford Sulphur. Give us a chance to earn your business. And by Jack Daniels Bar and Grill at Lauberge Casino Resort.
Philip, you guys have been here for 3 years. I see all the blue tags. How's it going?
Oh, we've made great progress, Judd. We've got people coming from all over Cameron, Hackberry, Southeast Texas, even from across the bridge in Lake Charles, Moss Bluff, and Iowa. So it's not that far, and we really are having a great time serving them and seeing people respond to us.
Like right now, we have big closeout savings on all our new 2013 Ford cars. $3,000 off MSRP on Focus, Fusion, Fiesta, Taurus, even Mustangs, $3,000 off.
So come see us at Tarver Ford, exit 21 in Sulphur.
Dr. Cassio was my choice.
Dr. Cassio is my choice.
Dr. Cassio was my choice.
Dr. Brett Cassio is fellowship trained and board certified in both orthopedics and sports medicine. He has the tools, techniques, and experience to get athletes back on the field of play. Call 337-494-4900.
Dr. Brent Cassio is the official sports medicine physician of Soundoff 60.
Wow. What? See what I see?
You know I see it. I seen it before you did it.
You? Come on, man. You know I saw that before you even said anything.
Say what?
Tell me what you see.
You already know what I'm seeing.
So you see what I'm saying, right?
I saw it. I'm seeing it right now. I'm looking right at it.
Right there.
Yeah. The new bottle? What's there to say?
The new Miller Lite bottle. Find one at a bar near you.
welcome back. It's time to Stump the Wise Guys. The lovely ladies of Jack Daniels and Lauberge are here. We have the lovely Brittany and the equally lovely Darby with an I. I notice it's with an I, right? Not a Y, with an I. Okay.
Very good, Rick. That's the way I would do it.
Huh? With an I? You like the I. Okay, there's no I in team, by the way. All right, here we go. You ready? Who's first? Brittany?
Me. Okay, y'all ready?
Yes, I think we're ready.
All right. Hall of Fame quarterback Johnny Unitas ended his NFL career with what team?
Wasn't the Colts, was it?
San Diego Chargers.
Yes.
Ding, ding,
Rick,
ding.
good job, Rick.
My second favorite team, San Diego Chargers.
Good job, Rick.
Okay.
All right. Next
Back
question.
to Darby or Brittany? Who was staying with Brittany?
Brittany
with a Y.
Okay,
See?
here we go.
You can do Brittany with an I, could you not? At the end?
If you wanted to.
You pushed it, okay? You pushed it.
It wouldn't be the same. She looks like Brittany with a Y.
With a Y, I agree with you.
I and Y. Here we go.
All right. Hall of Fame quarterback Joe Namath ended his NFL career with what team?
Rams.
Hey, you didn't let me finish.
You saw the documentary.
That's too
Here we go.
Yes.
Use that one.
All right.
Name the two San Francisco 49er quarterbacks traded to Kansas City Chiefs.
Montana was one.
Yeah.
Alex Smith.
Alex Smith.
Alex Smith.
Very good.
Okay.
Very good.
Alex
All right.
Smith and Joe Montana.
All right.
That's
Here
another
we go.
team
Yes.
that's unbeaten 4-0.
Kansas City, yes.
That's a turnaround.
That is.
That's an
big
Andy
time.
Reid turnaround. And
Got some
Puts
LSU
it in perspective.
They got a lot of
how
LSU
early it
kids.
is.
Hey, they got a lot of LSU kids on that team too. That could be the reason why.
You're right. Okay, back to Darby.
What does Hall of Fame quarterbacks Johnny Unitas, John Namath, and John Montana have in common besides their first names beginning with the letter J?
They all won Super Bowls.
They all won Super Bowls.
No, Unitas.
Unitas didn't.
Unitas.
They're all in the Hall of Fame.
Name it.
They all play with the same team. They all play with the same team.
In Montana. Okay.
Yeah, they're all in the Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame, that's one, but they've already been identified as Hall of Fame. What else do they have in common? Numbers?
They all wore stockings.
Numbers? Numbers? No, Montana was 16.
Who's the other one?
Namath was 12. Unitas was, what was Unitas'
19.
number? 19.
Well, Montana.
They all were voted most valuable players.
Who was the third one?
Namath, Unitas, and Montana.
Namath was 12 because Montana was 19 with the Chiefs.
That's right.
Yes, he was.
That's not it.
And that was his high school number 2.
No, it was his Little League.
Little League, okay. You know what I'm
It's got to
talking
be
about.
something obvious. It's got to be something.
I
Give
don't
us a hint.
know. Give us a hint.
It's where they were born.
Oh, Pennsylvania.
Well,
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's a great hint. I like that.
Great job.
They're all Pennsylvania quarterbacks.
I just gave you the answer.
There we
No,
go.
you didn't.
Back to
Great
Darby.
job.
We got one more?
Yeah,
Do we have one more? Okay.
All right, here we go.
What 3 NFL teams did Archie Manning play for?
All right, take it away.
Saints
is one.
Oilers, Vikings.
Vikings.
Yeah. Very
Saints and all
short
of us
time.
different.
Very short time.
Easy.
with it.
That was pretty good. No, it wasn't. No, it
That
wasn't.
Pennsylvania one was tricky.
Yeah, that Pennsylvania
Well,
was
that
pretty
could have
tough,
been a
though.
lot of things.
You're right.
Remember the famous Cheers,
Yeah,
Jeopardy
yeah, well,
episode?
yeah. You're right.
You know,
Darby,
none of the three
Still
of
did a
them have
great
ever
job.
been in my kitchen, you know. Unitas. Remember the not Cheers, the Cheers episode where the postman said,
Gotcha. Thank you, ladies.
Great job, ladies.
Darby,
They
with
did
all
good.
right, before time runs out,
All right.
USC over the weekend. A disaster at Arizona State. Pat Hayden, the AD, fires Lane
Fired.
Kiffin in the 4th year. What, 4 games in?
4 games in.
Couldn't happen to a nicer
talk about
guy.
intrigue.
Couldn't happen to a nicer
Of course,
guy.
I was wondering, I'm walking around like a zombie with no sleep yesterday, Sunday, getting back from Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I see this in the Atlanta airport. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning, and it says USC fires Lane Kiffin. Thinking, God, it's 6 o'clock in the morning out.
You just think you're just seeing it.
But apparently they made the decision. Pat Hayden, the USC AD, they're in the press box at Arizona State, and they found a little room they could meet in during the 3rd quarter. They didn't even wait for the game to end.
It's a wrap.
But you
It's
know,
a
so I
wrap.
see that and I was thinking, oh no. With little Lord Lane Kiffin gone, what are we going to do for entertainment? And then time I get home to Lake Charles, I see they have hired Ed Orgeron, interim coach. This ought to be good.
Is he not on the staff?
Oh, yeah.
He's on the staff.
I mean, Ed Orgeron, that's more entertaining than Kiffin.
Oh, yeah,
that's
Yeah, Ed,
Crazy.
Louisiana guy, was formerly, I think, coached at
He was
Ole
the
Miss.
head
He was
coach at Ole Miss.
Yeah, Ed Orgeron.
He's great,
I don't
great
know.
assistant coach, great recruiter.
Great recruiter.
Leaves a little bit desired as a head coach.
You dealt with Kiffin probably a little bit.
Not a whole lot.
But, look,
I don't think
it's
LSU played
widely
him. He was
known.
only there 1 year.
I know, widely known that he was a jerk.
They should have known
people
that.
bad,
They should have known.
egotistical. He left Tennessee after 1 year.
It's a
left them in
shame he couldn't have got fired last year when Tennessee was in the market. So Tennessee could have told him no.
Oh, God.
yeah. You know,
that would have been
Of course, they're going to, Orgeron's going to run the program. They're not going to get a coach in there. They're going to have interim coach. And again,
not right now. It's too late right now.
Kevin Sumlin, Texas A&M.
Yeah.
He is not long for Texas A&M.
Well, why does everybody
He's
say
not
that?
long for Texas A&M.
Well, why couldn't that be a good fit?
I mean,
I'm just saying. Look, there's nothing against College Station.
No.
I mean, this guy
A lot
has
of money.
this guy.
A lot of money at
Well, they're
A&M.
going to redo the stadium too, Rick. You know that.
This guy's got Pac-10 or Big Ten or NFL written on him.
Well, maybe.
Really
I'm not saying
really
you're wrong. I mean, this is the obvious job. This name comes up for every semi-big job. But
You mean
this
for
is the
USC?
one, yeah. But this is the one. Hollywood, everything like that.
Yeah.
John Gruden has got to be in the room with me. Now the big name so far is Jack Del Rio. You know,
Yeah.
Southern
Really?
Cal,
Yeah.
former Southern Cal player.
Played there, right?
Jack, great
but I mean,
defensive
this
guy.
is the one that
Great defensive guy.
if this one doesn't lure Gruden back into coaching, you can
think so?
forget it, and no other coach
Interesting.
Yeah.
will ever
Interesting.
start
But
rumors
you're right, though,
about
Scooter.
Gruden again.
You're right, though.
Yeah,
You're right, Scooter.
I don't
agree
know.
with that. You're
I
right.
think Gruden
And it
is in the
also,
booth.
you know, my buddy Mike Brown at Texas, you know
clock's
what
ticking.
this does. You know,
That clock's
Southern
ticking.
Cal is now getting the jump on everybody that's
Yeah.
going to be in the market for a coach.
Yeah.
The most famous time that happened was when Florida fired Zook and
Right.
it allowed them to get the head
Right.
start on Meyer, or Meyer would have probably ended up at Notre Dame that year.
Do it
But-
now and start planting
You have
seeds.
to.
And is that, you know,
have to.
Texas don't want to get too far behind.
That's
in,
right.
In that,
We'll
on,
see.
on that
No.
coaching search.
Interesting angle. We'll see.
We love
We're out
Mac,
of
but Mac,
time.
that clock's ticking.
Thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks,
Great
gentlemen,
week.
for the A game. And
Great
we'll do
week.
it all again. Go Saints. Let's hope they go
All right,
4-0.
Saints. Come
We'll
on,
see you
Saints.
next time, everybody.
Soundoff 60 is presented by Tarver Ford in Sulphur. Give us a chance to earn your business. And by Jack Daniels Bar and Grill at Lauberge Casino Resort. Soundoff 60 airs on Suddenlink Cable Channel 60 Monday through Sunday nights, 9 p.m. and again Saturday and Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Soundoff 60 also airs throughout the week on Communicom Cable Channel 6 at 9 p.m. across Southwest Louisiana. Check your local listings. Post your questions and comments for the boys and access our website links at soundoff60.com.